Alright everyone, sorry my lens was a bit dirty then. I just got in from work, had a bit of a weird day today, feeling a bit knackered. I filmed the last video at Tropical Islands. That was a day where I went out with staff. Make you proud, you'd vote for the door, you'd head for the crowd. Because we had the day off because we were building that huge display thing. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram or whatever, but we had this massive display built at work. It's a huge donut rack. Before we could only fit like a few in there. It was this tiny little glass thing that my boss Bram made. But now we got this huge one made out of wood and glass, and it looks really, really impressive. We spent the whole day trying to figure out where to put them and stuff. It's probably boring listening to it. For me, it was like a big deal because we've been waiting to get it done for ages. I wanted to come on camera and talk about PMA because a lot of people are commenting, trying to get involved with it, and I think it deserves a bit of an explanation. PMA, as most of you already know, but if you don't, stands for positive mental attitude. It's something that I found out about through bands like Youth for Today, it's positive. Gorilla Biscuits, we believe the same things. Shelter, and tons of other bands. I wasn't into it for a long time. Many of my mates were. They were into bands like Comeback Kid and stuff like that, you know, that really sort of like positive sounding hardcore. I wanted to get into something super heavy and aggressive, and I wanted it to be really, really hard and really in your face because I wanted to be different. Every one of my mates at school was listening to music like 90s, which is amazing by the way, 90s dance. I love 90s dance. At the time, I didn't want to be a part of that movement. I didn't want to be friends with those people. I didn't have anything in common with them. I felt like I needed to listen to something different. So what I listened to was Slipknot and Korn and all of those sort of 90s nu metal bands. Papa Roach. And that's what made me feel good. That's what I listened to for a long time, and it sort of progressed into death metal, bands like Cannibal Corpse, Morbid Angel, Severe Torture, Decapitated, Dying Fetus, all of those awesome death metal bands that I listened to when I was, I guess, like 15, 16. And then when I got a little bit older, I started listening to stuff like grindcore. So I got into bands like Pig Destroyer, Ukopse, all of those amazing grindcore bands. All of my mates were getting into that sort of hardcore movement, which I never really was a big part of. I think my first experience of it was when Champion played, the straight edge band. They played at my local bar or whatever it was, you know, the local place where bands played in my hometown. And there was these posse kids there. Posse kids. So when I went to see this band Champion, right, there was a lot of different kids there. By saying different kids, I mean they look different, they act different. I hadn't seen them before in my hometown. And it was a lot of that sort of positive hardcore crew. And I'd never seen that before. And I thought it was such an amazing thing, instead of being in this sort of slam dance mosh pit, which I was used to, or this push pit where everyone was very, very aggressive and always ended up being in fights and stuff. There was this sort of like push mosh thing going on, and everyone was doing these hardcore dances like two-step and picking up change and stuff, and it was very, very different to what I was used to. After seeing that band, I totally got into them, and I listened to Champion a lot, and obviously being straight edge, I picked up on a lot of these positive mental attitude bands, and I got really into it. I was very much a part of that scene for a very long time, but then it sort of died out and I got into very, very dark stuff, and I went into a dark era of my life. And that's when I think positive mental attitude actually became more important than it was in the first place. When I listen to PMA bands now like Youth for Today or Gorilla Biscuits or Shelter or 108 or any of those bands that mean something and encapsulate the PMA attitude, it actually changes the way I feel. I've made a lot of friends through it. If I see like X's on their hands tattooed or stuff like that, like I met this guy, I actually got his stickers here, one sec. This is a clothing brand called Outkast Agenda, and the guy that does this, and you should go and check this out by the way, it's a straight edge vegan clothing brand. Really, really awesome person. So this guy came into work, right? He came in with this t-shirt on, Outkast Agenda, and this was actually being worn by a lot of people in my hometown, Berlin. I never really knew what it was. This guy came into work and he had massive X's tattooed on his hands, and he had one of the t-shirts on, and I just said to him like, hey, like your t-shirt's amazing and I love your tattoos, and he's like, oh yeah, this is my company. We had already spoken to each other on internet like tons, on Instagram or whatever, and it was really, really nice to meet him in person and just get to speak to someone that felt the same way as me and was into, you know, like Shelter and all those sort of bands, and it encapsulated that attitude and talked to me a lot on Instagram about being positive and feeling better about myself and not taking myself into a dark place and trying to give love to other people instead of having a negative effect. That changed my mind a little bit. That made me sort of take a massive turnaround. And before, I was very based on hate, and I was very based on looking as aggressive as possible. I wore all black, I slicked my hair back, I wore DMs and leather jackets. Every single picture I posted was in black and white, and I wanted to have like this concrete image and not let anyone in. But it doesn't work. It just makes you more angry, and people look at you and yeah, they may stay away from you, which I wanted to achieve, but they don't become a part of your life, and you don't get to experience a good feeling. A lot of people are interested in mystical things, and they want to listen to music which is really dark and really mysterious, you know, like I was a part of that as well. Letting people in is so much bigger. It's so easy to be a horrible person, but it's not easy to be a nice person and have a positive impact on their life. And that's why this guy that came in from Outkast Agenda, this straight edge vegan clothing company, when he came into the store, it was like this huge aura around him of positive mental attitude, and it just impacted me instantly. I felt good, I was smiling, I had a connection with him instantly, rather than someone that came in wearing glasses, wearing all black, that just said nothing and just looked away. You know, I don't have a connection with them other than like, oh, I bet they make amazing music, just because it's so angsty and so dark, you know? I just wanted to come on camera and talk a little bit about that, because I've met so many people through this YouTube channel that have spoken to me and become a part of my life, and they comment constantly down there in the comment section, and they thank me for talking about the PMA. But you haven't got to thank me, I have to thank you. It's an amazing thing what we're doing. We're becoming a part of each other's lives and impacting each other positively. You make me smile when you comment down there and make jokes or whatever and say that you're loving the PMA vlogs. It makes me feel so, so good. When I meet people like the guy from Outkast Agenda, or when I meet people like Dan, my good friend Dan, who had, you know, some really hard times recently, right? I met this guy Dan through YouTube. He's from Hamburg, and he just, we started talking, and we were like talking about bands and stuff like that. And then he messaged me and said that he was having a heart operation. I hope you don't mind me talking about this, mate. He had this like serious heart operation, you know, and he was always positive to me about it. He was like, yeah, you know, like I got to have this done, but you know, I'm looking forward, it's going to be fine, you know. It's a serious operation, but I got to keep positive about this. I got to keep my chin up. When he came out of this heart operation, we were messaging and stuff constantly. And right, so him and his girlfriend came to Berlin. We were talking about meeting up for ages. So I message him on WhatsApp when I'm at work, right? And I say like, where are you? Are we still meeting up today? And he just sent me his location, and it was at the hospital. And his girlfriend had fallen off her bike and broken both elbows. So both her arms, like from here down to here, like completely in casts. Basically looked like that Matey from Mortal Kombat, you know, the massive metal arms.
Brutality. How you like that?
And even then they were like being positive. They were sending pictures to me of them like smiling and having fun and stuff. And that's insane to me. People that can be that positive and have that much fun, even though they're having like the worst time, is amazing to me. That's who I want to have a relationship with, you know? Like these people are so, so positive and have a massive impact on my life. So thank you, Dan. Thank you, the matey from Outkast Agenda. PMA all day. That's what it's about. Thank you so much for watching these videos. Tomorrow is going to be more of a vlog video. I'm going to get up and get this camera and make a video of the whole day rather than doing like these sit down videos. But every now and again, I like to do this. I like to sit down in front of the camera and talk to you. If you want to comment down below and talk to me about positive mental attitude, do that. I will always write back to you if I have some time in between working. You can add me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. All the links are down there below. Leave a thumbs up if you like this video. Leave a little comment or whatever, and yeah, share it and get your mates to subscribe, because I'd love to talk to them if you want to be a part of this PMA movement. Nice one. Sick. See you in a bit. Cheers.